welcome to the stream. I'm Sami Laakso from Snowdale Design, and in this stream we are going to play a full demo of Lands of Galzyr. And if voice and video and everything works fine, if anyone can let me know that would be perfect. And I do have some so hearing myself, that should be better, and let's turn down the music a little bit. Alright, so welcome everyone. I already chatted a little bit with Michael, Sir Spinner and Felix, and welcome Pöydällä Lautapeli-blogi, also known as Christian. Also have some fancy chat here, so even you can see if you're not on YouTube. Perfect, everything is working nicely. So here we have the game. So this is the stream is made for Pöydällä Digital 2022, but I had a 30-minute demo on there, but because I want this to be people to be able to watch this also later on YouTube, I figured it's best if we start the game over, as I believe there's also many of you here who have not watched the first part in there, so it's better to have everything here. Yeah, new chat overlay. Michael is excited. I also have this new round cam shape here. New fancy stuff. So to begin each game of Lands of Galzyr, first we have the game board setup here. I also have some cards actually mixed up because my cat did some messing around. Evan, welcome to the stream, Evan. Can't wait to listen to the soundtrack. Yep, me too. Actually, because I haven't heard all of them, because not all the tracks haven't been quite finished. But the final one will have 12 tracks, so one for each month, and each one will be roughly 15 minutes or so. So in total it will be 2 hours of unique music, and it's going to be awesome. The composer is named Joe Curry, and they're really talented music artist. So we have set up the game board here. We have to randomize the starting day, and then we can put the global status cards depending on if we're playing cooperative or competitively. But for that, for the randomizing the starting day, we have the Book of Adventures, which can be used, digital storybook, which can be used on any any device with an online browser. So I have it here on iPad, but you can use any like phone, tablet, computer, anything that has a web browser nowadays. And it can be used offline. You simply need online access to first access it for the first time or to download it. For example, I have it here on my iPad installed, and I don't need an internet access to use it. We're going to start a new game, and the game continues always where it was previously left off. So we have one card tray for the cards that are used in the game, and there's quite a lot of those. And we also have a second card tray, which you might have to use partly if you are going to sleeve the cards, but it will have still plenty of room for possible expansions. But it also currently hosts the save slots for the different adventures, So here we have Mumir, Mor, and all the authors behind those. And we also have a save slot for the world, which has this globe icon here. And in that we have these cards that make up the game board. We also have quest cards, we have some global status cards, which are all of these three are those, and we also have event cards forming the event deck. Welcome to the stream, Valpuri. The map looks beautiful. Too bad I missed the first part. I will watch it after for this for sure. Yep. Speaking of that, we are going to start anew because I want this to be a standalone video if people want to watch this later. So we are going to play a full game from start to finish. So I apologize for those who did join the demo on the stage on Pöydällä Digital, but we are going to repeat a little bit of content here, but not too much. We didn't even get to finish the first scene in that because I explained so much of the game about the game. And so we have the status cards, and one of those. So status cards are recognized by this blue globe icon. All cards have their status or their card type on the top left corner. So we always have one of these month cards. This is March, and it shows basically which month we are playing, and it also tells which side of the game board we should be using. So for the funs, I chose March for our demo because it's March in the real world. And these images are one of the stretch goals we hit in the campaign. So first it was all summer months were going to have the same illustration, and all winter months the same. But we hit the stretch goal in which I actually drew a huge panorama, and it has 12 images, and you can combine all the cards like this to form a huge panorama. So the next month always continues from the previous one. Like here we can see February and March. So it's a slow transition from winter to summer to back to winter. So it's a panorama that never ends. You can see the rest when you actually get the game yourself. But that's kind of like one of the largest art pieces for the game, but it's split into tiny pieces. So we have March over there, and now we can tell the storybook which month we are playing, because same number in the storybook, so the same story can have different stuff happening in it based on which month we are playing. So even while the game has multiple hundred scenes, story scenes, even those have variation in them based on which month we play. Evan is saying the art is so good, really looking forward to getting my hands on this later. I'm looking forward to people actually getting to play it as well. It's been so long in development that I can't wait for people to actually get to play it and then tell how much they like, or hopefully not hate it. I have used to like reading all the comments, but basically I might have to try to get used to not reading all of them, because you can read them yourself here. But now we can tell the storybook that it's March, and it randomizes the starting day to be Thursday here. So now we can use the day token over here to mark Thursday on the game board as well. So the book, we have to tell the book which month it is, so it can tell correct stories, and the game board is used to track various timed effects that might happen later, including the harmony card here. So in each game, the game supports 1 to 4 players, and we can play either competitively or cooperatively. So here are the two cards. On the left we can see Discord, which shows that if we play competitively, we use that one, And if you play solo or cooperatively, we use the harmony card on the right. And in this case, we are going to return the left card, the discord, back to the global save slot. As for this, we have a timed effect, which is the blue box with the X in the circle. And usually that circle, the clock has a number in it, but in this case the number is specified by the number of players seen on the bottom. And we are playing a solo game in this demo, so it's 8. And whenever we have one of these timed effects, we are going to find 2 identical timer tokens from here. For example, I take 2 lemur ones. Doesn't matter which ones they are as long as they are identical. So I take 2 of these and I put 1 in the calendar as many spaces forward as the number indicates in the circle. So in this case it was 8. So 1 week is 7 and 8 would be the next Friday. So this is basically timer to show how many rounds we are going to play until the game ends. And after each game, we are going to save the game in a specific way, and we can continue playing in the next one. But we'll get back to that after finishing the demo. And the other token is used to cover the number on the card. So now we know that this happens whenever the day token reaches the similar timer token. Here we have set up what's called the notice board. It has 3 quest cards, and they have 2 sides. This is the private side and this is the public side, and we should not be looking at the private side before we pick up the quests. And at the top we can see where these cards can be picked up. So this one can be picked from Jabar, for example. And all of these, the pickup locations, I have marked with these quest tokens. One can be picked from Arhin, one from Teshun, and one from Jabar. Usually in this point we could choose where we put our adventure on the board to begin the game in one of these named locations. But in very first game you play with any adventure, you have these 2 specific cards in your save slot, and one of them is a quest card, this purple back, and one is this adventure status card with the yellow back. And the quest card dictates that we do not get to place our figure on the game board. So in the very first game we are going to skip choosing the location. But we are going to mark our prestige here at the top to be at 0. So that's the goal of the game, is to gather as much prestige as we can to become the most famous adventure there ever was. We also have our adventure figure, which we use to show where we are on the game board, but currently we are denied on putting it there. So I'm not going to explain all the rules beforehand, because we can simply start playing and I'll explain as needed. So on each round we first have the movement phase, and then we have the story phase. And when we in the movement phase, we can travel up to 2 spaces on the game board by moving from place to place. It's really simple, but I explain that once we are actually on the game board. On our very first turn we are going to skip that phase. Then we go to the story phase, in which we get to always resolve a single story. And all stories have these 4-digit numbers, like here at the bottom, and they have the book icon in a red bubble, like this 0086. Various places where we can choose those stories are these quest cards, location cards. For example, here if we would be in Rienstum, all of these are treated as a single space. We could For example, visit convention center, casino, or some other places. And we always could also draw a card from the event deck. But in this case, we are not on the game board, and we have this starting quest, and it has this lightning bolt icon, which means it's a mandatory scene. So we do not have an option to not choose it. We have to choose this one. So what does our first quest say? It's named Friend in Need, Part 1. With the help of a friend, you've come to Galzyr for a fresh start. It is time to leave your old life behind and experience the adventures you always yearned for. And as told earlier, we can't put our adventure figure on the game board, and we also can't abandon this quest. Usually quests can be abandoned if you don't feel like doing them, but this one can't. And then we have the scene. Here we can start our adventure by taking the story scene 86. And the other card in our possession is an adventure status card with our special ability Soar in the Sky. Each adventurer has their own special ability, and we'll get back to this on our very next turn when we can actually move on the board, because this lets us fly to get faster from place to place. So let's put those aside for a moment, and now we can take the stories back, go to the Book of Stories, Book of Adventures, and we can take the story on our adventure on our quest card number 86. So we can either scroll through the list to find the given story, or use the search box to go there faster. And then we have some lovely story written here. Standing at the top of the plank leading ashore, you view the busy docks below. Folks carrying cargo, negotiating passage, or just loitering, shouting, laughing, living their lives. You want to step down and join them, but this short, symbolic step from the ship means so much more. It means starting your life anew, leaving your troubled past behind. The past your new friend so kindly pulled you from. She should be waiting you by the tavern, supposedly the worst Rienstone has to offer. Will you move already? The captain shouts behind you. Or do you wanna go back or something? Then we are asked to put our figure to Rienstone. So let's do that. As told earlier, this is treated as a single space, so we can put our adventure anywhere. I just choose to put it near the docks because that's where we thematically are. And then we have a single option. We can step ashore and go meet our friend. And Evan is asking about my favorite character of the 4. So the game does come with 4 adventures. One is also the River Kingfisher, and a quick look at the others. And feel free to interrupt with any comments you may have. It's fun to have an interactive chat with you. We also have Bumir, the marbled polecat, and then we have Moor, the frilled lizard, and finally we have Keridai, the northern bandit newt. And asking my favorite of the bunch. I do share some similarities to Keridai, and I really like her special ability, which lets you bend the rules of skill checks quite a lot. So she might be my favorite, but it's hard to choose between your babies, as you know. So we're going to step ashore now. Walking through the seaside street, your mind wanders back to your benefactor. You met in awkward circumstances yourself trying to steal from her. You would have ended up in jail again, or worse, but instead she listened, showed compassion, and helped you out of some serious trouble. You don't fully understand how she did it or why, and it took you a while to be able to trust her. You spot the tavern, Brewing Toad. and your friend awaiting you. She's wearing a hood, but you can't mistake that beak. Her eyes light up as she finally sees you and she greets you warmly. Here, I brought you something. Welcome to Galzyr, Alsala. And we get a random 150 from the library. So the library has plenty of cards split with these dividers, so it's fast and easy to find what cards we are looking for. And the cards have the number at the top, like so. So when you scroll through, you can find the requested card really easily. So random 150, so let's pick one and 281 as well. Let's find that. Let's see what we got. The gift from our friend is a bar of soap. I'm not sure if she's trying to suggest or hint at us being not quite clean, but we'll see. So items have their value here at the top left. This is worth 4 gold, and they also have some tags here at below, lubricant and aroma in this case, and we'll explain and go through those when they are needed. And we also have some abilities that we can use in skill checks if we ever try to convince someone or fight someone. What else we got? We got Nara herself. Nara has traveled all over Galzyr and beyond for a living, taking on various tasks ranging from trivial to hopeless. And she can help us in survival skill checks, which is that 10th icon, and also if we try to sneak or intimidate, we get to reroll some dice. She also has the one of these timed effects, which we have to mark on the calendar. So let's put the item in our inventory. So we have spots for 3 items below our adventure board. And then we need again 2 tokens. One goes 5 days into the future, so next Tuesday. And the other we're going to use to cover up the number. So here you can see at the bottom it says discard, and well, Nara will stick with us until the next Tuesday, after which she has better stuff to do. Let's see where I can put her. I want to put her in our inventory, like here maybe. Alright, we have done all of those. You have your wits, but to make it here, you'll need more than that. Nara blabbers on as the 2 of you through the city's market. Wouldn't hurt to try to make a good impression or to pick up a book every once in a while. You do know how to read, right? But most importantly, be careful out there. You notice her grimace briefly at the last bit, but before you can ask her about it, she excuses herself to visit one of the stalls nearby, which seems to offer camping equipment. Left alone for a moment, you look around busy market, curious about this foreign city you ended up in. What are these folks like? So now we have 2 options. We can either observe the folks at the market, which would be a medium perception skill check, or we can recall what we know about Rienstone, which is an easy knowledge check. And whenever you see options like I'm not sure where I should point. Options like this in the storybook, feel free to write in the chat on which one you would like to pick. Even while I'm just reading through the story, like up here, and whenever you see the options, because there's a slight delay in the comments, you're just free to shout out like, I want to observe, I want to recall. And if we get some really tasty options, we can even use the voting poll option in YouTube. But for the most part, just someone shout anything on the chat and we'll go with that. Sir Spino asking keywords on the bar of soap were useful in later situation, right? So lubricant and aroma. So sometimes the book of adventures will ask, do you have a certain tag? and if we do, it usually opens up some new options for us. So we have our own adventure board has streetwise and flight. Our bar of soap has lubricant and aroma, and Nara, our friend, has a roamer and flight as well. And so whenever an option, like in this case the observe and recall, has a colored bubble at the end with difficulty rating, those have skill checks on them. And in this case, we have two skill checks. We can either do the perception medium or the knowledge, which would be easy. And the game has 6 different skills, as indicated here on our adventure board. So from the top, going clockwise, we have thievery, which is the pink one, which is all sorts of hand dexterity stuff and, well, stealing. And then we have might, which is used for using our strength, whether it be fighting or moving heavy objects or something like that. The yellow one is survival, so outdoor skills and endurance basically. At the bottom we have the knowledge, which is the green one, which is quite self-explanatory, as well as the blue communication, which is used with interacting with other folks. And finally we have the dark purple, which is perception, so finding stuff, looking around, things of that nature. And these skill marks, which are plastic pegs that can be taken away and put here. The game will come with plenty of those, and all adventures have different distribution of those, and they show which ones we are really good at, and we are able to change those during the game in multiple different ways, as we might see in the demo, depending on what you want to do basically, because soon the game will open up and you are going to get to choose what you want us to do. But now we have to choose whether we want to observe the folks in the market or recall what we know about Rienstum. And as we can see on our adventure board, we would be better at observing because we have 2 skill marks on that skill. And it would be harder for us to recall what we know about Rienstum. We have nothing here, but the adjacent skills help us a little bit as well. And recalling would be easier than observing. So both are valid options on their own right. And if anyone doesn't give any any wishes on which one you would like to pick, I will sometimes pick it. But now Michael said that also is good at observing. Curious bird. So yeah, let's try to observe the folks at the market. And first thing we do, I should note that everything you see here on the table comes with the base game. The only exception is this dice tray. So this does not come with the game. It's a separate add-on, which can be opened from the corners and laid flat, and it does fit in the box as well if you get one of these. So the first thing is we take these 5 base skill dice, and they have 6 sides with 1 success for each the 6 different skills in the game. Evan agrees to observe as well as Dragon. And then we can replace any of these black dice with these better ones that we get access to with our skill marks. So we have these ones and we are observing, so we get to use both of those observing skill dice. So I'm returning 2 black ones and taking these. So they have 2 doubles for their own skill for the perception. So they're really good at that one. Everyone is agreeing to observe. Good. And I'm also going to swap one for a thievery die, which is adjacent to the observe, the perception. So in addition to having 2 doubles for their own main skill, they also have 2 single sides for both of the adjacent ones. So because Thievery is adjacent to Might, it has 2 swords, but it also has 2 Perception eye symbols because it's also next to Perception. So they are twice as good compared to the base skill dice, which have just a single success for each skill. So these are our dice, and we are now trying to observe the folks at the market. And we rolled two eyes, and here's the downside of having the chat, especially if you write much, but it's fine, I'll just move them around. We have two eyes, and the difficulty ratings for the skill checks are easy, medium, and hard. And they need at least 1, 2, or 2 successes each, respectively. So, respectively, actually, not respectfully. So, in medium skill checks, we would like to get at least 2 successes. So now we know that we are not failing because we already got 2 successes. But in each skill check, we have a single reroll where we can reroll everything in our dice pool. So if we do want, we can take all the dice and give them a reroll. But it might result in a worse outcome. So you can also tell me on what you wish to do in the skill checks, but it could take a little bit to get the input in this direction because of the slight delay. And I think we shouldn't be too greedy in our very first skill check. So why not? Let's see and what happens with just 2. Sir Spinner agrees to keep. So I'm not alone. Good. So 2 and 3. The market is even busier than the docks were. You look on as the plethora of different folks do business. There's plenty of polecats, but you also spot lemurs, monitors, ocelots, ducks, and many more. However, your inquisitive gaze sets on a group of armed vultures slowly approaching, clearly looking for something in the crowd, or someone. Something in their forceful demeanor causes every instinct you've developed over the years to scream danger. Interrupting her haggling, you point the vultures out to Nara, whose face crunches with worry. Them again, she says. They tried to catch me once already. I'm afraid they're after you too. One of the vultures seems to have spotted you, and they start to wade through the crowd towards you. We have to get out of here, Ausala. 2 options: we can either sneak away through the crowd or convince the folks around us to help us. If we sneak, we have 1 main die, 2 side like adjacent ones. If we convince, we have 2 adjacent ones. But our item helps, our bar of soap helps if we convince or fight. So actually we do get a quite nice bonus. Like time for sneaky escape. We might also want to convince the folks because we smell so good with our new bubbly beaks soap. So we would get really good auto success, and we could reroll 1 die if we try to convince. Folks are more eager to help lean folk, it seems. I'm not sure what that tells about the world of Dimurria, but it does tell something. And Nara does help is if we sneak, we could reroll up to 2 dice. So as you can see, the option name has sneak word, the verb in it, and Nara's card has 1 as well. So whenever those match, we can use the box. So in this case, we would get to reroll 2. So we get a little bit bigger or better ability for the convince. But we get a little bit better dice for sneaking. And Michael, Pajukka, and Dragonal or agreeing to sneak. So let's save our clean features for some other time. Sneak away through the crowd, And we're actually going to use the same dice as last time. And it's a medium, so we would like to get at least 2 successes. There's always even better outcomes available, but we don't know the threshold for that. It might be 1 more, 2 more, even 3. We don't know, so it's always a little bit of a gamble. And we're looking for these Thievery icons with the hand, and we did get 2, which would be enough for not failing, and that's already pretty good. So I think we want to save those, and we don't want to roll everything because we might lose the 2 we already rolled. But Nara lets us reroll up to 2 dice, so let's reroll both of these to see if we can get even more, if Nara can help us. She did. We actually have now 4. Nara is pretty sneaky, it seems. Sir Spinner has we saw 3 outcomes. What is the max of outcomes? Yes, so previously it had 3. So pretty much always there's at least 3 outcomes, but I'm not sure if I want to tell what's the biggest number of outcomes, but there are some kind of crazy options in the game that has maybe even 10 or more outcomes. Usually not that many, but some do have some crazy amount of them for one reason or another. You'll see when you find those. And we do get exactly the best one with 4. That's pretty great. With practiced ease, you blend into the crowd and disappear from under the vulture's beaks. It's as if you vanished into thin air. They are some upstart group, Nara whispers to you at a safe distance while you watch the vultures frantically search for you. You can probably guess why they're after us. You can indeed. Looks like you weren't quite done with your past just yet, but you would definitely find a way to lose them for good, and then begin your new life in earnest. We got 2 prestige, so let's mark that on the game board. That's pretty great. We return the Friend in Need card 111. The quest card let us take this scene back to the library. And we get 62. If I can find one. And also got 222. And that's the end of scene. So what we got 62. We got Determined, which has Resolute and Upbeat tags. No matter what kind of hardships await, you feel like you can take it all on with the strength and vigor of 3 spectacled bears. And in any skill check we may discard to get 1 success, and if we ever get Afraid, we have to return both this and Afraid one. These are item slots, but I'll use them for now and until we get more items. And we also got Friend in Need Part 2. Your past caught up to you once more when some vulture thugs tried to catch you. You need to find a way to deal with them in order to live your life freely. According to Nara, there's a group in Deshun which can help you. Cannot be abandoned, and now if we go Deshun, we can seek aid and take the scene 90. And we can see that Deshun would be over here. And let's see if I can gather this here, for example. So limits on our cards. We can have 3 items. We can have 3 quest cards and no limit on other card types. We can have as many of these adventure statuses. Our special ability is also 1. So we have already 2 of those. We have 1 companion. There's no limit on companions either. So just on quest cards and items. And now we would be the next player's turn, and they would first move, and then they would take the story scene. And after all players have taken their turns, it's time for the calendar phase, which is really simple. We simply move to the next day on the calendar, so from Thursday to Friday in this case. And if there were any of these timer tokens on the new day, we would simply resolve anything written on those cards, like here, for example. And we do the same in the storybook, going from Thursday to Friday, because also the same number here, the same story, can have different stuff happening in it based on the month, but also based on the day. So the same number can have quite a lot of stuff going on in them. And that being said, there's no randomization or like any sort of real intelligence in the storybook. So if you do have multiple devices and you have the same month and day setup, you can use multiple, because sometimes it might be nice to be able to read the story at the same time as the other person is reading it out loud to you, if you find it easier to follow by also seeing the words written. So you can have multiple devices and all kept synced up with the day and month, and all the stories will play exactly the same. So now on the next turn, and we are on the travel phase, where we can move up 2 spaces on the game board and then take a story scene. And basically now the world has really opened up, and we can do whatever you want us to do. So we have week left in our game, 7 days to do what you wish. Some options: we can visit some of the places in Rienstone. There are wishing wells, docks, arena, market, convention center, and casino. We can move somewhere. We can go, for example, Arhin to get some new quests. We can go Teshun to get a new quest. We can go to Zabar to get a new quest. And if we go to Teshun, we can also resolve our second part of our first quest. And so Spinner is asking, what were purple the quest again? So these mark the positions or the places where we can pick up new quests. For example, here in Teshun, we have this on the notice board. So the notice board always has 3 quests, and the new one is placed whenever one is picked away from there. So we can see here, for example, that from Teshun we could pick up a quest from Gyldia the Long-tailed Duck, saying, "Evil farmers are treating child workers badly. This must stop. Somebody help." So we have various quests available to us on these locations marked with the purple quest tokens. We also have our special ability. Through a life of uncertainty, you have learned to embrace the unknown. When the opportunity calls, you spread your wings and leave others in the dust. And in this, during travel, we may discard, returning this one to the library, to get +3 movement. And if we move with any non-flight companions, we would return them to the library. But good for us, Nora does have the flight tag, so she would be able to fly with us. So we would be able to move 5 spaces instead of 2 with the sword in the sky. So do we have any wishes on which direction you would like to go, or should we stick to Rienstone, for example? If you don't success anything, I'm going to take us Teshun, so we can pick up a new quest and possibly resolve our current one as well, if we so choose. It would still take a few turns, because we can move 1 and 2 and wait over here if we don't want to waste our special ability on the very first turn. Payukka is asking, can we go to the casino? Absolutely. So we also have on our game board, we have marked how much gold we have. We are currently at 10 gold. So Spinner is saying would love to go to Teshun, so we can do both. But if we do want to do both, it's better probably do the casino first. And Dragon is also going to Teshun, so Payukka was first, so let's let's go to the casino and then see what happens, and then we can on the next turn we can head towards Teshun. So casino over here in scene 26. And 26 here. As you enter the acclaimed Golden Casino, a macabre clerk in a bow tie greets you from behind a counter. He kindly informs you that one must change a modest sum of gold for playing chips to get inside. We can either leave the casino or pay the entrance fee, which would be 3 gold. And I assume we didn't come here just to leave, so let's spend 3 gold. Going to rotate our gold to 7. So now we know we are left with 7 gold. After handing a few gold pieces to the macaw, he takes down your name and hands you some playing chips. Making your way to the casino proper, you are assaulted by a nearly overwhelming cacophony of sights and sounds, even smells wafting from the nearby bar, its patrons. The luxurious hall is filled with animated folks betting their possessions on various games of fortune and the tantalizing riches they promise. You are approached by a fennec fox dressed in a staff uniform. The fox smiles at you amicably. What matters is not the game you play, but the excitement and the chance to score big. So Spinner agrees to go to the casino first and of course pay for the entrance. Michael's saying enter casino, leave the casino, something, profit. And we are asked, do we have a fancy tag? And well, unfortunately we do not have fancy. Bar of soap has lubricant and aroma, but we are not fancy enough. Evan's saying I wish I could stay and watch, but I need to go. Thanks so much for a playthrough. Looking forward to more updates and videos later. It was a pleasure and glad you could join us for a moment. And as always on YouTube, this will be available to watch later. So if you want to finish up at the demo later, you can come back and do that. Thanks for being here for the moment. Music is cracking a little bit for me, but I hope it's not doing that for you. Michael's saying, alright, when I get the game I will pin my character super fancy with items and see what happens in this scene. Yeah, that's by designing that, especially for the locations, if you're asked about some tag, you can remember it and come later to see what happens if you do have it. Alright, do we want to play dice or cards? If we would have lucky or passion tags, they would help us play dice, but we do not have neither of those, so we can still do play dice, but we wouldn't get any help from those tags. Playing dice does not have a skill check involved, but playing cards does have a perception skill check on it, which we are pretty good with our skill marks if we want to do that. First vote for it, either of those is what we are going with. Let's see who can choose our fate in casino. If we should put our fate in the dice or cards. And Dragon is writing cards, so that's what we're going to do. And our dice would be again these same ones, yeah, because we're doing perception skill check. So Spinner agrees that sounds cards do sound good. And we're trying to get ice, and we just got one of those, and we would like to get at least 2 for the medium. So I take it we want to reroll everything. That's better. We got 3 perception ice, and there's 1 thievery actually. So we can see here we did get 1. So sometimes the storybook does throw us a little bit of curveball, and it asks about a different skill that we just checked. And in this case, we always pick the one first from the left. So here we are going to be 1 thievery. After playing a couple of rounds, you notice that the player next to you, a toad in fancy clothing, is keeping her stacks of chips quite close to you. She seems to be very focused on the game, and probably wouldn't notice if you took a couple for yourself. So does the opportunity make a thief? Let me know what you want us to do. Steal the chips or concentrate on the card game. X Digital, welcome to stream. Already say don't steal, so we're not going to steal the chips. We're just going to concentrate on the card game. And now we are asked to use the result from the previous skill check, which is 3. Oh, we could also have used the determined, I forgot to tell it, but we can use it in any skill check even after rolling. But we already worked at 3, so it might have pushed us to the next outcome. But I forgot to ask, and in this case it wouldn't have helped us to reach 5, so it's good that I didn't remember to ask you about that. So Spin is asking, do we must steal because of thievery roll? As you saw, we did not have to steal, we got the option to steal, like because we have such thievery dice, it's likely that we roll it. So that's like our adventurers thinking about stuff like, oh, there's chips, should I steal them? But we do not make the decisions for you. It's just that the way you build your character affects what kind of thoughts they like have in their minds, and maybe that affects sometimes what options are presented to you. But you are always in control, and you are going to make the final decision on what you might want to choose. Just that the skill marks and the dice are sometimes way to give you new options what your adventurer is thinking. But now we got 3, which is in the between 2 and 4. Sitting at a common table, you ask to be dealt in. Reviewing the hand you have, you rate it as being decent and enter the fray. You meet some stiff competition, but manage to keep up. You can see that most of the authors at the table are quite experienced, and they are determined to prove themselves, and are more than a match for you. Still, you play your cards well enough to walk away with a handful more chips than what you sat down with. We got 12 gold, that's huge. Now we don't have to worry about gold for a little while, so we are going to 19, and 20 is actually the maximum you can have in your possession, so we are almost capped. And now we move to the next day, which would be Saturday over here. And same on the game board. And then the plan was to go towards Teshun, so we're going to take 1 and 2. And also, when you suggest where you want to move, you can also say if you would like to fly with our soar in the sky card. So feel free to say that if you think we should go somewhere in a hurry. But now we're going to stop here, and we always, if we don't have, well, so Spinner is suggesting we should go to market to buy an item, which might be a good idea because we have just 1 and we have 2 empty slots, so we can still go back to Rienstorm if we want. Spinner is asking, can we market in Teshun? So some of the places on the board are not like cities or proper settlements, and Teshun is one of those. It's a ruined city, which was a beautiful place at one point of time, but now it's quite barren, and you can see that there's only ruins and camp and no market to be seen. So there's no market in Teshun. And as for the different places and their backstories, the game comes with this travel guide, which is totally thematic and does not have any mechanics in it, but you can use this to learn more about, well, the author who supposedly wrote the guide, but also about all the different places. Like, for example, here is Teshun, and you can read more about Teshun's story. Here, the crumbling remains of the once great town of Teshun have an air of history to them, like nowhere else. Should stories of ghosts and lost riches fancy you instead, take a peek at the tunnels below the town. But be warned, venturing deeper is decidedly unsafe. The well-armed mercenaries have made the ruins their base, but barely anyone else lives there these days. In July, however, a yearly festival brings the town to life, like in the olden days. It's not July, so we're not going to see the festival in this game, but you can learn more about all the different places by reading the travel guide. So Spinner is asking, is changing the landscape something part of the experience? Well, the locations on the game board are not cards just without a reason. So there's way to change some of these cards to have some new locations, and well, I'm not going to spoil what happens, but they're all cards for a reason, because you can do stuff that can affect the world, and all the cards are saved between sessions, so if something does get changed, it will stay that way until perhaps something else changes it to a different one. Do we want to stop at the market in Rienstorm before leaving for Teshun, or do we go there with just 1 item in our possession? What should we do? Both are definitely valid options. Everywhere on the game board outside of Teshun and Meratu, they have markets. So all the different places here, they have markets, but Teshun and Meratu do not have. Like, Meratu is just an forest basically, and Teshun once was a great city, but since has not been rebuilt and does not have a proper market. So Spinner says proceed. All right, let's stop here, and if we can't take anything, any other story scene, like visiting a place, taking a quest card, we can always draw an event card. So in that case, we draw the top card of the event deck, or more specifically the story master, who is usually not the current player, but someone else. Obviously in solo games you act as the story master by yourself, but if there are more players, someone else will do that, and they will draw the top card of the event deck and go through the different conditions listed on the left and pick the first one matching your current situation. So here it's asking if it's Monday, and it's Saturday, so it's not Monday. And then we have settlement, and we can see that here, for example, Rienstum is both grasslands, a settlement, and has also a pier on it. But we are currently on a grasslands page, which is not definitely not a settlement. So we're going to down here on the grassland here and take the scene number 53. And we're going to set this card aside until the end of the scene, and it will always tell us what to do with the card afterwards. So 53. And we are asked if the library has specific card available, and I'm going to look there to see that 297 297 actually is not available in the library for one reason or another. So we're just going to pick no. And when texts in the storybook are written in this turquoise text background, the story master should not read those aloud. They should simply do what they ask to do. So in this case, the active player would not be asked, does the library has a specific card available, but the story master just silently takes a peek, goes through and sees, oh, 297 is not here, so I'm just going to pick no and not say anything about it. While making good pace on your travels, you pass a well-known campsite. It's not a surprise to hear voices, but the shouting makes you slow down and see if there's anyone in trouble. Gevisu, you come clean right now, shouts an Asian forest tortoise, her neck shaking in anger. There was 8 gold in my purse, but now there's 5. I can't believe you would steal from me. And I can't believe you think I did it. The striped hyena grips his face in frustration. Just because I'm a hyena, I can't believe you, Iminor. The tortoise spots you and shouts excitedly, oh, a stranger, a neutral party who can resolve our problem. We're asked do we have a streetwise tag, and well, we are Ausala, and Ausala has streetwise and flight tags on her adventure board, and they can never be taken away from us, so we actually do have the streetwise tag. You've been around plenty of rascals and thievery in the past. Perhaps you could apply your knowledge to assist. Should we apply our street experience? Or prove Gebisu's guilt by stealing his money? Not that we don't have enough already. Or should we just say, not our problem? Which option would you like us to pick? I'm pretty sure people will like to apply our street experience, but I'll wait for the first viewer to say what like to do. Might be tempting to steal some money if we were short of it, but because we currently have, so we are pretty loaded, I don't see us needing to steal any more from the poor Gebisu. And apply, your street experience option does have some pretty tempting star effects on it. So I'll take that we're going to apply our street experience. From the way they put up a strong exterior, so Spinner is agreeing. It's obvious to you that they lived tough lives. You ask if they lived on the streets or on the edges of settlements. The surprise in their eyes is your answer. You remind Gebisu that while old habits die hard, he should consider whether a trivial amount of gold is worth more than his friendship, which cannot survive without trust. You see Gebisu's face growing ashamed. Iminor, I know it's not your fault. You've been lucky with money recently. I don't know how to apologize. He holds out the stolen money in an offering of peace. No amount should come between us. The tortoise seems ready to explode, but seeing her friend express vulnerability and regret softens her fury. The friends hug and promise that come what may, they will always share their fortunes. They reward you for saving their friendship and give you a tip-off for a good job, for a job that might just be up your alley. We get card 33. And a random 99. And we are then told as place the drawn event card here to the bottom of the event deck. So I'll do just that. And that's the end of scene, and they gave us a gift, a smoke bomb, alright. Originally invented by the three kangaroos to cast a veil of mystery around many important shipments and operations, to this day simple foggy weather is often credited to kangaroos. And if we ever sneak or fight, we get some massive bonuses, but we do have to discard, so it's one-time use. Most items can be used multiple times, but smoke bomb is one of those that is consumed when used. So we have now two items in our possession, room for a third one, and we also got a quest card named Fright Night. My childhood friend Mons is the lone keeper who runs the Dawnwatch lighthouse at Arhin. I want you to give him the fright of his life. Though I must warn you, trespassing in the lighthouse is technically illegal. I know he hides the key outside the entrance you could use to get in. Signed by Lelo, the Deku friend. And now if we ever go to Arhin, which is down here, we can go and visit the lighthouse by taking the scene 289. And as told earlier, we have room for three quest cards, so now we have 2. We have Friend in Need Part 2 and Fright Night Part 1. And that's the end of that round, so we're going to move to Sunday on the game board as well as on the storyboard. Storybook, not storyboard. And then I think we want to move to Teshun, and we can pick up this quest here, which was the evil, the long-tailed duck asking for help. And when picked up, we can see the private site, which is a Growing Pains named quest. I escaped from wicked maize farm owners. The food was bad and they beat us. They held us in chains and forced us to work for them. I was lucky to get away. They'll take me back to the horrible farm if I speak to city guards. You must help me free my friends from the evil farmers. Signed by Guldia, the long-tailed duck orphan. And now we go one space south of Meratu. We can visit the farm, and we do have a compass here if you're looking at the game board on different angle. but one space south of Meratu would be a space here. So we do now have a quest to Arhin, and here we can visit the farm. And whenever the notice board has less than 3 quests in there, we will take a new one from the quest slot, which is here at the front of the library. So we simply take the first card here and place it on the notice board. And well, this is another one that happens to be in Teshun. We request help in finding one of our members who hasn't returned from her assignment. Signed by Wild Arm Mercenaries. And actually, I did not order this, I just had them shuffled around. So I'm going to change it to one that has actually been written, because I remember that that's still not completely done yet. So I'm going to change it to something that has already been done. For example, this one, but it's in Jetsten. So we're going to put the new quest token, or actually we're going to move the previous one to Jetsten. And now we are in Teshun, and we can either do our own quest, or we can visit the ruins or the camp, or we can do one after the other, each taking us a new day if we so choose. We can also always draw an event card, even on these locations. If we want to draw one in Teshun, that's also a possibility. But I assume we came here to try to get help from the mercenaries with our vulture, the evil vultures chasing us. So I assume we are going to now seek aid and take the scene 90. And this handshake icon here, which most of the quests have, like all the ones that we have in our possession right now, it indicates that if there would be another adventure on our same space, they would be able to help us. Like if, for example, Geridai would be in the game and they are here on the same space, we would be able to do the scene together. So you can do that in competitive and cooperative games, but it's usually done more in the cooperative games. But we are now trying out a solo game to keep this a little bit shorter and taking the scene number 90 from the card. Wild Arm's mercenary camp lies deep within the ruined town, and as you approach the guard post, you eye the imposing wall that still stands on this side. Flying over would have been tough with all the gear you're carrying, but luckily you don't have to. They are not your enemies. In fact, you're here to ask for their help. We are asked, do we have a roamer tag? And Nara does have roamer, so we're going to pick yes. So Spinner's saying, funny you say, but you can do a demo of 2 players in the future. I have plans with someone probably going to do a 2-player game at least once the game is released, and I will see if I have time before that, but at least once the game is released, we have plans to do a 2-player run through with Sir Tekos from well, another Sir from his own YouTube channel. So we might even do one on his channel and one on mine or something. But it's in the plans to have a 2-player run through as well. But it's more fun if I have a quest and then I can play one of the characters and they can play the other. Yeah, I have done pretty much just single-player demos. One reason being they are shorter than 2-player ones, but I do plan on having at least one 2-player game done in the future as well. At Nara's behest, you approach the two guards and ask to see their leader. They laugh. The boss is busy, one says. What's a squirt like you want with him? How about you show us what you can do first? The other interjects, pointing at the wall surrounding the camp. Climb that and we'll take you to him. You glance at Nara, but she simply shrugs, signaling she'll go along with whatever you decide. So, should we try to climb over the wall or intimidate the guards? Nara will help us in both of these. So here we can see that in survival skill checks we get 1 success, so if we try to climb, or if we intimidate we get to reroll 2 dice. So she will help us in these tasks. As for our items, they do not have climb nor intimidate on them. Smelling good isn't that intimidating. But we do have the determined status, which we can use to get a single success, but it's usually best used after we have already rolled the dice and see that, oh, we're probably going to fail. Now we can use our determined status to get one additional success. So climbing is a little bit harder, but we have 1 primary die. Intimidating is easier, but we don't have primary dice. We have rerolls for intimidation. For climbing we get automatic success. So Spinner is saying climb, so that's what we're going to do. And Nara gives us a single success, so we're already at 1. Going to change up the dice finally. So these are our climbing ones. And that's 2. So I'm thinking that we should be happy with what we already got, because it's quite hard to get more successes from those. And Nara gave us 1 success, so we are already at 3 successes. Just if we want to be greedy and use the determined, but I take that we are happy with just 3, and let's see what happens. In this case, determined would have been enough to push us to the next, but it's always unclear where that threshold goes, so it can be risky to waste it. Fingers crossed, nice roll for once. With tremendous effort, you find enough cracks in the weathered wall to slowly climb the otherwise smooth surface. You manage to reach the top, however, and descend back down to the impressed guards. Not bad, rookie, one says. You might make a decent mercenary. This way, the other continues. Boss wants to see you now. I wait here, Nara says, shooing you forward. Inside is a lone falcon who introduces himself as Gero. I heard about Rainstorm, he says, but don't worry, those thugs have caused trouble for us as well, so we'll take care of them. And a reminder, as soon as you see these options in the storybook, like here, feel free to write, so we can, because of the delay, you get more time to write as I read the story for you. You ask how he knows about that, but he just smirks. I like to stay informed, Ursula. Now, was there anything else? You insist to take part, which seems to humor him somewhat. The two of us are birds of the feather. Very well. We've intercepted some of their equipment, including this coded letter. Show me what you can do. And Jospin is saying, search equipment 100%. Sure, let's go with that. And we don't have our items, do not have search or crack, so we are left with just the determined status if we need it. So let's search, returning those and using these. I would like to get at least 2 successes, and we did get 2. Should we be happy with 2? We might get a lot more as well, but it's always a tough decision if we want to be greedy or not. But maybe we are just happy. We are a little bit scary, scary to get, and take just the 2, which would be enough for the middle one. Hero looks on you as you investigate the pile by the side of his tent. It's mostly clothing and some supplies. However, you also find a hidden pocket. You pull out some blue face paint. While you turn it over, however, you hear shouting from outside. As you step outside, a mercenary runs to Gero, telling him that something happened at the guard post. Gero rushes forward, and you follow after him towards the post where you just were. The post is a mess, and one of the guards lies on the ground, wounded but still conscious. "Boss, she was with the vultures," he shouts. "And she took Nara." Gero observes the surroundings with a grim look on his face before turning to you. "If we didn't have a common enemy before, we do now. They attacked my camp, and they'll pay for that." And we're asked to return Nara to the library, removing the timer tokens. And we are asked, do we have a mercenary tag? Partners tags do not count in this case, and we do not have a mercenary tag. I'll send one of our own with you. If you want revenge, come to Hesembi. They have a base there, likely Nara as well. I'm going to crush them there. 2 prestige. We are going up to 4. Return friend in need 222 to the library. And what else? We get 223 and random 149. That's 223 and 149. And that's end of scene. And there goes my cat. And so what we got here the random for 149, in this case is Marlena Brownbeer, Sentinel Mercenary and Sen. Marlena has always been the most knight-like member of her crew. And if we ever get wounded, we return to the library, Marlena will protect us. And if we fight or force, we get some extremely good bonuses. And after a few days, we either have to spend 4 gold to delay or discard. So every few days, Marlena is asking, pay me, pay me, pay me, or she will leave. She's a mercenary after all. So let's put her there. Let's use the same ones, 3 and 1, 2, 3. But we are loaded, we have 19 gold, we have plenty enough to pay her a few times if we so choose. And the 223 is Friend in Need Part 3. Nara was captured by your vulture enemies and taken to Hesembi. Thankfully, the Wild Arm mercenaries promised to help you assault the gang's base. You should meet them there and go save your friend. And we can meet the mercenaries if we go to Hesembi, which is over here. And that's the end of this day. Moving to next week on Monday. Same here. And we are again in a crossroads. And we have to decide what we want to do next. We still have a few days left. And we can do whatever you want. We can visit the camp. We can visit the ruins. We can go to Hesembi. We can go towards Meratu. Here we have a quest. We have our friend in need in Hesembi. The orphans in the farm here just south of Meratu, and we have the lighthouse frightening scene event here, a quest here, or we can just go wherever you want. That's the spirit of the game, is to go where you want and do what you wish. So Spinner saying, why so much aggression? Would love to have a peaceful quest. Yet it depends on what we find, and also depends on what you want to pick from the notice board. Like let's say that here's for example one in Yetsten, it says moving between cities in Galzyr is a pain. I have a solution, however. Just a simple courier service is needed to complete my plan. So sounds more more peaceful. We have tried our best to have a huge variety in the scenes. So some are more exciting, some are more peaceful, some have fighting, most do not have. Like we use all the different skills in the game basically as much. So we have 6 skills, and only one of them, for example, is fight. Can be used to fight, and even for might, less than half of all orange skill checks are fighting. So in that way, the game actually has really little of fighting in it. Do we have any wishes on anyone on which way we should go? If no one suggests anything in a little while, I have to take the lead and maybe lead us to Hesembi to save our friend, and maybe then or one of these. It's hard decision. Both of these are neck close to each other, but our friend is waiting for us in Hesembi. So Spin saying, "You choose, please." All right, I'll choose. Let's go, friend. Let's go, friend. Let's go save our friend, or at least attempt to do so. So move 2 spaces here. I would also be tempted to fly here, but because Marlena is a brown bear, he can't fly, or she can't fly, and we would have to abandon her to the roadside. So, and she might be useful in the scene in Hesembi. So we are going to draw an event card, see the different ones here. Asking if it's Saturday, it's Monday right now. So we're going to skip that. We are on a hill region, so 208 is the scene that we should take. 208. Your travels through the hills today have been an entertaining one. For hours on and off, a red-tailed hawk has been practicing daring and dazzling aerial maneuvers above you. The show turns grim when the bird wobbles and falls to the earth. With all the uneven terrain of the hills, it makes it hard to see where they landed and takes you some time to find the crash site. Help me! The hawk gurgles while his wing, bent at a terrible angle, twitches. Between gasps, he tells you his name is Hector and that he was practicing formations that old-fashioned hawks used to impress future spouses. After rambling about how he loves someone named Ver, he tells you that he has a cabin nearby with medical supplies. We do not have a surprise tag. Let's see if we have first aid or medical. We don't have those either. So we have 3 options. We can either recall how to treat wounds, medium knowledge. Not that easy for us. We could explore the area for the cabin. Also not that easy for us. Marlena can help with fighting and forcing. Probably want to do, or we can just leave him there, but that seems rough. I think we should try to explore, because we either way we are going to use these dice, and exploring is just a little bit easier for us. So let's try that one. Yeah, Sir Spinner is agreeing to explore for the cabin. And we're horrible at that. We did get 2, like, we started exploring and then we remembered, oh, that's how you treat the wounds. I should have done that, but it's too late now. We're already lost in the woods. Let's reroll everything and hope for the best. Again, 2 books, like what is this? But we did get 1 survival, so I suggest that we should now finally use our determined status that we are going to find the cabin. We are not going to leave the hawk in trouble. So let's use the determined to get 1 additional success. So we are at 2, which is enough to succeed in a medium skill check. And that's between 2 and 3. Lifting Hector off the ground, you tell him that you are going to take him to his cabin. He gives a vague nod in the direction it is in and passes out. Venturing through the hillsides, it is an effort to find the cabin, but with determination and time you finally reach it. You patch Hector up with a supplies there. He stirs up a moment to offer you some goggles as thanks, but passes out and you step outside. Looking at the wilderness around you, a grim realization creeps into your mind. You have no idea how you got here. You try to retrace your steps, but lose your own trail in a few paces. Your worry turns into a full panic as you run through the hillside, unable to find your way out. That didn't go as planned. We do get 1 prestige, and then there's a mistake in the coding. We should well, let's mark the prestige, and I'll make a short note to fix this scene. So 208 and yeah. So it should have instructions for us that we now can change up one of our skill marks to a perception skill mark, which is the purple one. We already have 2. He gave us some goggles, but we are all already geared up with all the goggles we need, so that doesn't even do much. And then we get the card 50 from the library and return the drawn event card back to the bottom of the event deck. End of scene, and our lovely card number 50 is lost. You can't recognize your surroundings. Everything looks so foreign to you. How did you even get here? Well, we do know how we get here, but we don't know where here is. When gained, place your figure on this card, and on our next turn we have to take the scene number 100. Which is, oh, we are lost. Yeah, our rescue mission. We did save the hawk, I hope, but we did get lost in the process. So here we are. Not quite as planned. Moving to Tuesday, and same here. And I don't have to ask you where you want to move because we are lost. We are not on the game board. We have to take the scene from our lost status, which is number 100. And let's see where that takes us. Galzyr is such a beautiful place that you find yourself lost in the sights and smells of summertime, until you realize that you are wandering through a forest without knowing exactly how you got there. Retracing your steps only seems to lead you deeper into the woods. Spinner is blaming me for getting us lost, but I remember you agreeing to try to locate the cabin. Maybe it's my fault for rolling badly or not well enough, but you were. I take only part of the blame. You think about just picturing a direction and walking towards it, hoping it yields a way back to civilization, or at least some clues to your location. Then again, there might be a more systematic way to approach the situation. Should we observe? Or should... yeah, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. If we observe, navigation would get us bonuses, but we don't have a navigation tag. So we can either explore the area, which is unknown difficulty of survival, and we know how good we are at that. Or we can try to observe our surroundings, which is unknown skill check difficulty of perception, and we are much better at that. Or we could just pick a random direction. I'm just saying, let's not explore. That's what got us in the mess in the first place. So, do you want to observe the surroundings or pick a random direction? Both sound equally bad in their own ways. If we observe, I'm just taking the dice. Those would be our dice if we observe for surroundings. Welcome to the stream, Brian, and the success thing to observe. So Spinner is saying, explore, you got us. Now we need to find our tracks again, and X-Digital saying pick a random direction. Everyone like suggesting different things. I don't know what to choose now. But I'll stick to what I said earlier, that I'll take the one that is suggested the first, and Brian was first, so let's observe our surroundings and see what that leads us. Or where that's let's move them like this so you can see them. We got 2 perception. Are we happy with 2, or do we risk and roll again? The difficulty again is unknown, so I don't know how hard it is. There's so many scenes in the game that even I don't remember all the stuff in them, which is kind of nice because it makes it possible that even I can enjoy the game without knowing everything that's going to happen. I hope it gets more difficult you with your pick. So you're just trying to get us in the worst situation, like double lost or something. I see where that is leading. If no one's going to say anything soon about rolling or re-rolling, I think we might be happy with 2. I've been playing a little bit cautiously. If I had some successes, I haven't re-rolled at that point. What does Kenzie say? What do you say? Should we be greedy or not? Guest star. Should we reroll? to say? He's not saying anything. He's eating his tail because he's a weirdo. Yeah, let's stick with the 2 and see where that leads us. 3 would be enough to get something else. I don't remember what, but we are going to take this. The view of the forest is both magnificent and packed with information. You manage to pick out a few landmarks and figure out your relative location. It's a short walk through the woods before you finally resume your travels. Alright, let's roll that d12 over here. And that's a 10. Now we may add or subtract 1 from the roll, so we can choose either 9, 10 or 11. And we move our figure to the location matching the number, and we also return the lost status to the library. So each location has the number here on the game board and also at the bottom of the card here. So it's both to easily find where they are put on during setup, and during game you are sometimes asked to look at these numbers. So Arhin is number 9, Rienstum is 10 and 11, and it would also be 12. So we can choose between this which is the same, and Arhin. So we get lost here and probably wander through the forest, and then we find ourselves somewhere like here, and now we can choose which way we should go. And we did have one quest in Arhin and also another one here, so why not let's choose the direction and go towards Arhin and find ourselves in there. Or maybe we over here and got lost on the river. I'm not sure what happened. We just saved a hawk and did a little extra trip. And then returned the lost status to the library. And then we are going to move the next day, which is Wednesday. It has a timer there, and as what it is, it's Marlena. And now we can see the effect here at the bottom. We either spend 4 gold to delay by 2, which means that we move the token here 2 spaces to the future, or we discard. Basically, Marlena goes away. What do you think? Should we pay her? We do have 19 gold, but also if we want to fly, she can't fly. But maybe we keep her pay her at least once, if not for any other reason, but because we have so much gold. So let's go down to 15. Like so, and now we can delay this by 2. So going to take it, put in the Friday. The benefit, if we pay her once more, it moves to Sunday, and the game will be over before she asks for more gold, and that way we would be able to put her into our save slot, and we would start the next game with Marlena. So that would also be nice. But now let's also move to Wednesday over here. And in Arhin, there's a quest that we could pick. We already have 3. We always can pick more, but then we have to discard down to 3. So I'm not going to bother with that to keep us moving forward. We could visit market, library, and the docks, but I think we want to now visit actually the lighthouse. which we can do with our quest Fright Night. So we are going to try to spook Lelo's friend named Mons. He wants to play a little prank to his friend. So let's see where that leads us. Let's visit the lighthouse. Take the scene 289. The world is dark and stormy as you visit the lighthouse. It is a great colossal work, piercing the heavens and looming over both the ocean and the city. Mons is somewhere in that structure, and you have to get in and scare his pants off. You have to wait for a nearby guard patrol to pass by before you approach the base of the great stone tower. Since the tower is part of the military fortifications that protects Arhin. The area is under regular watch and more guards will be by this way soon. A rickety door stops you from progressing inward. You recall in Lelo's note that she mentioned about a key being hidden around here for the door, but only an owl could find it in this lack of light. We're not an owl. We're not a sailor neither. So, yep, owls with their night vision would help us, but we don't have night vision. We can either search for the hidden key, or we can unlock the back door. Both are pretty valid options, because we are going to use those dice either way, no matter which one we pick. We are a little bit better at searching, but unlocking is easier here, so both are valid options. Our items do not help in search nor unlock. And Marlena is also not interested in she has forcing, so she could like run through the door, but that's not in our cards right now. Should we search or unlock? Both sound pretty nice. If nothing is suggested, hard decision. Both are really nice. Maybe searching, because it is harder, but maybe its rewards are also might be better, and we are better at that. So they're kinda equal in difficulty for us. So why not? Let's try to search for the hidden key. Of course I chose incorrectly. We already got 4 thievery, which would be so much for the unlock. But we do have a single reroll, so let's reroll everything. That's 3. I'm happy with 3. We're not going to fail with 3. We're actually going to get best outcome. That's nice. You find the key with minimal effort. It was on the top ledge of the door frame. You extract the rusty thing from its exposed hiding spot. Yet, despite its woeful neglect, it still fits snugly in the door and unlocks it. As you step into the bottom half of the lighthouse, there's a staircase that leads up and a bin of stuff ready for the garbage. You notice some items in it that might actually prove useful, if you want to take them, after you head upstairs. We can swap ourselves one communication skill mark, like some old racks and clothes in the garbage if we want them. So we can take one, we can get ourselves one blue skill mark. Might be fun. We have already used this for a while, and it's always fun change up a little, but the question is, what should we get rid of? maybe move the thievery one to the other side. If we remove the yellow survival, we might be in serious trouble if we have to do something on that side of the skill wheel. So let's first drop it, and then let's I'll suggest putting it here, and maybe we could also remove one of the perception ones, but let's take this one away. Maybe we are turning a new leaf in our career or as an adventure for the better. So that's that. Once you reach the top of the staircase, the upper halls are darker than night. You tiptoe along them until you come to a ray of light bleeding out from a cracked door. Peering in, you see a lemming at a desk, nervously looking about. As the wind picks up, it whistles through a cracked window and he nearly jumps out of his seat. "Just the wind," he assures. "Not a ghost at all." You look through the hallway you are in and see a folded white sheet in the corner. And now we do not have underworld tag, and we had 3 options. We can intimidate mons, and those which don't have stuff helping in intimidating outside of our newly picked skill mark, so that's nice. Invent ways to scare mons. We are pretty horrible at inventing stuff. Or we can pay mons to say you scared him. We still have 15 gold, but 8 is quite a lot simply to convince him to say that we scared him. Maybe intimidate or pay, but probably not inventing. We are not that good at that. So if you don't mind, maybe we should try to intimidate. Intimidate. Lelo did ask us to scare a friend, and paying isn't scaring. So let's see if she if they get scared from our newly acquired scraps or clothes. So we get to change this one for a communication skill die. My cat is wanting some attention. Let's try to get some communication success here. That's absolutely horrible. Let's try again. That's absolutely great. That's 4. Really, my luck is turning finally. Cloaking yourself in the sheets, you step into the room and inflict fear on the lemming in such a mountainous volume that he falls to the ground screaming. He has never been so afraid in his life. He slumps to the floor, gasping and weeping. "Please, spirit, spare me! Don't take my soul!" After you let Mons roll around begging in tears for a while, you help him up and explain you're not a ghost. Lelo must have sent you, he concludes. "Well, I will tell her that you might that you got me good." You share a laugh, and the lemming gives you an item that was laying around the lighthouse. "Take it. You have spiced up my night, and now I have a funny story to share with my friends next time we have dinner." So it all is well in the lighthouse after all. 2 prestige for bumbling around. Bright Night gets placed the vault, so it doesn't go back to the library, but it goes to the vault. So it's a different place in the in the card tray. So at the very back here we have a separate divider. This one is vault, and cards go there to stay outside of library sometimes. For example, here, to make sure that you don't play this again before you have played pretty much everything else in the game. So you don't see duplicate content until you have basically seen everything already at least once, and then it probably so long time since you saw them that you might have forgotten or want to see them again and try some different stuff. And we also got 47. If I can find 47. And then the partner would get stuff, but we did not have a partner. So here's 47. We got a broom with sweeping and pole. A tidy home is a source of pride for mongooses. Many other folks end up delaying cleaning as much as possible, often finding long-lost items when they finally get to it. And now if we ever search, fight or explore, we get some additional bonuses from our broom. And we're finally up to 3 items. Let's see, I'll put our sword in the sky. It's barely visible here. And then we move to Thursday on the game board and in the storybook as well. And then we can do this is our final turn before Friday here, which marks the end of the game. Also Marlena's payday. So we either if there's multiple tokens on a pile, we resolve them from top to bottom one by one. So we first have to choose, do we want to pay Marlena, and then we get to play the final scene. So we can do a final quest here if we want. We can pick a new quest, like this one from Arhin. It can be resolved in Rienstum, and then a new one would get placed. New one would get placed here. That can be picked from Teshun, and we get to save everything here. So it's good to have good to get stuff even in the final turns, because they will carry on to the next one. Spinner saying a broom, a bar of soap. Maybe we should get a cleaning job. Yep. So what should we do? We can in Arhin we can visit various places as shown earlier. There's a market, library, and docks, and we have the one of our quests here. We also got the new one that we could do if we wanted to. It has to be resolved in Rienstum, but we would have to fly there with our special ability down here, and we would also lose Marlena in the process if we chose to do that. So maybe not lose Marlena, maybe we'll just go do one final quest, the Growing Pains. Marlena hasn't actually helped us at all, and we did pay for her to stick with us, so maybe we'll see if she can be useful at least once. So let's move here and see Growing Pains. I escaped from wicked maize farm owners. Food was bad and they beat us. They held us in chains and forced us to work for them. I was lucky to get away. They'll take me back to the horrible farm if I speak to the city guards. You must help me free my friends from the evil farmers. Signed by Guldia, the long-tailed duck orphan. And now we are one space south of Meratu, and we can visit the the farm by taking the scene 293. On your way to the farm, you are surprised to run into Guldia, the malnourished duckling who gave you this quest. There is no way I could stand by and not help. We have to go save the otters. As you head to the farm, she tells you about the cruel acts performed by the married couple running the farm, Theodore and Darivi, and how they get their most loyal farmhand, Old Norit, to beat and starve the kids that act out of line. You reach the farm as the sun starts to steer for the horizon. You can see the farmer's home next to the various barns and granaries, along with the stable the kids are being kept in. You try to press with the farm. You could try to press with the farmers or go free the children. Should we go to the farmer's house directly or head for the stables? Which one could be more a smarter way to handle the situation? If we want to try to use Marlena to her fullest potential, we are trying to find fighting or forcing, which we have not been able to do since she joined us. Spinner is suggesting a house. Let's try that. You head to the house and rap on the door. A Polgat couple answers, whose curious faces morph to anger when they see Guldia. You are in big trouble, Missy, the wife Darivi growls. You tell the couple that you want them to treat the kids better. Theodore gives you a threatening look, and when you do not budge, says to his wife Darivi, "Fetch me my blunderbuss." She opens a door next to the entrance, exposing a room filled with survival supplies and firearms. We do not have a curious tag, so we're left with options of intimidating the farmers to release the kids or outwit the farmers. Unfortunately, no option to fight them, which is what we probably wanted to do. And again, intimidating, we have dice, and outwitting, we only have dice, and we have better dice for intimidating, so let's probably try to do that with the dice already in the tray. And that's 2. We could get greedy and try to reroll, but maybe we are happy with 2. It's not that likely to get much more with the dice, especially with my luck. So let's stick with 2. You warn them that bad things will happen if they do not release the kids. The couple feels so threatened that they run into the gear room and slam the door shut. Behind the wooden portal, you can hear them gearing up to deal with you. There's a lot of firepower in that room they can bring to bear, so it might be wise to utilize this time you have bought to act. You ask Guldia as quickly as possible to take you to the stables. She runs around the side of the house. The others are this way, tailing her. You reach the stable. You reach the grimy stables and peer through its barren windows with Guldia. You see a swarm of children sweeping on soiled straw with the farm animals. They start to wake, and soon the whole throng of them begin whispering at you to save them. The only door into the stables is sealed with a heavy padlock, other than a hatch on the roof. You hear shouts and footsteps drawing near. Seems Theodore and Darivi have grown wise to you. You do not have much time. We can unlock the stable, which we do not have any helping items or stuff, or climb on the top of the stable, which again, we don't have stuff helping us. Climb again. Yeah, let's try it. Let's try that. Unlocking, we have 2 secondary dice. Climbing, we have 1 primary dice. Remove those. Get these ones in. Oh, that's a nice roll. I'm not going to reroll that. We got three survival, and that's might not be enough for the best, but we're not failing. Let's not be greedy. 5. Oh, we would not be able to get 5 with our dice. You climb atop the stable, throw open the bolt, and start pulling up children through the hatch of the roof. In short order, you empty the stable of the youth and help them flee the farm. A group of loyal farmhands led by Theodore and Darby arrive and capture you after all children escape. Furious, the farmers attach a ball and chain to you and promise you will work off the profits they just lost. They lock you in the stable and turn in for the night. Well, that's just great. Later, before the sun has a chance to rise, the children return and help you escape from the farm. Despite the shackle, this is a great victory. You feel so uplifted having helped all the kids escape from this horrible place. 2 prestige. We're up to 9. That's really good. Return growing pains. 146 here. Back to the library. Get 52 and 60. And 60 partner stuff, and then 104. You asked to put that at the back of the quest slot. So that's a quest card, and this is a way the game activates new quests by putting them at the back of the quest slot. So you can see I put 104 there, but we fill the notice board from the front, so it will take a while for that to become available, but the game will cycle through the quests. That's like one of the way we do it. And what we got? Well, we got the ball and chain, which will hinder us if we try to sneak, fight, climb, or run. We get 1 failure, but it's kind of okay in this case because when this icon here with arrow to the box is save icon. So when we save the game so basically after the end of the game, we are going to discard this. So we are not going to have this for us for too long because we are already at the end of the game. But we also got inner peace from helping the children. And if we recall, convince, or observe, we get a success. And if we do some, basically if we do some like physical activities, thievery, might, or survival, we have to hasten by 1 bank. This happens sooner, so we have to discard this. So our inner peace is like crumbling if we do physical activities. But we got that one, and it has number 4. So let's mark that. Doesn't matter too much right now, but 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do it anyway. It's a little bit hidden here, and like so. And now we're going to move to the final day, which is Friday here. The first one is Marlena. She didn't really help us. Well, why not? Let's for the for showing how it works in saving. Let's pay her 1 more time 4 gold, which is really expensive, but let's do it. Like moving it 2 days to the future, and my cat is asking to play with him. Let's pay Marlena 4 gold, dropping us to 11. Our earnings from the from the casino. She's banging those. And then the next one is the harmony, which will end the game, and we will take the scene number 200, named Gathering. After all the excitement, challenges and adventure, it is time to unwind for a moment and reflect on your travels. How many adventures were there in this game? Well, 1. And we do not have the isolated tag. You head to the nearest inn, intent on treating yourself to a well-deserved evening and celebrating this leg of your journey. Already from the outside, you can hear the sounds of lively patrons suggesting that the establishment is quite full once again. Despite the noise, all heads turn as you enter, curious to see the new arrival. Do you want to throw a party by spending even more gold, or should we celebrate alone? Our final decision of the demo. And my wild guess is that Spinner wants to throw a party, but I'll give you a few moments to catch up with the stream and write it yourself if you do want to spend our even more of our earnings. We are currently at 11, so we would end up with 6. Oh, I was wrong. Spinner says we celebrate alone, money is tight. Yeah, we are not fully alone. We are celebrating with Marlena. And we got we actually got exactly 9 prestige, which is which gets us the best outcome here. And well, it's really rare to get 9, and if it comes to it that people get 9 too often, we can always adjust them a little bit, but it's really hard to get 9. The jaws of everyone in the inn drop as you enter. Every single one of them recognize you. Ignoring them, you sit down and order a drink. You have to order twice, as the innkeeper seems as awestruck as everyone else. While you work on the drink, everyone speaks in veiled whispers about who you are. Of all the wondrous, dangerous and crazy things you have gotten up to, both good and ill. They're all totally captivated by you in streaks of awe and jealousy or obsession. Your glorious exploits will be recounted for generations to come. You are a living legend, a piece of Galzyr itself. We are legendary. That's pretty cool ending to our game, I believe. Not every I have demoed the game many times, and this might be the second time we achieved 9 or more prestige in a solo game. So after each game, sun is hitting quite harshly on the board, so its camera has hard time getting the colors. But now after the game ends, in the rules we have these instructions on saving the game here on this page, and in all games we do the numbers 1 and 2, and then those are basically resolving all the save effects on any cards and other components. Like here the ball and chain has this save icon and says discard, so we will return our ball and chain to the library. We are not going to have that at the beginning of next game. We also have a save effect on the month card over here on March. You can see here we could replace this with the card number 4. So our next game would be, as you might guess it, would be in April. And final save, I believe we have currently is always on our adventure board here. You can see that we should take this card 0 from the library, which is our own special ability that we actually didn't use in this game, but we would get this one back. So we always can use our special ability once per game. So those are the things that are always done, and well, we would also take any of these tokens from the calendar and any cards and remove those. And then we either follow the instructions on the left if we pack the game to the box, or if we want to play a new game, we can. There's like a quick setup that we do, and then we can continue playing. Takes less than 5 minutes. Well, both of those do actually take less than just take a few minutes to do. But basically, we would take all our cards, so those here, all of those, and put them in our own save slot here. So behind Ausala's own save slot, and then all the cards on the game board, all the global status cards, all the quests from the notice board, and also the event deck. All of those are put in the global save slot. So next time you play, each adventure continues where they were left off, and the game will continue where it was left off. Like in the next game, we could play Ausala, and one of our friends could play with, for example, they could start a fresh new adventure with more, and then you could play either cooperative or competitively. So it's really easy to get on the game on the table, because not everyone has to be present at each of the sessions, which is one of the downsides of many of the campaign games, that they are really hard to actually play, because if you play with 4 people, you have to try to make it work with 4 different people's schedules, which can sometimes be a pain. I can sign to that myself. Welcome to the stream, Man Knight. Really love your designs and the wonderful world of animals that I've created. This fancy adaptation is my top one for 2022. That's awesome to hear. I hope you enjoy your time delving into Galzyr once it hits your table later this year. Thanks for joining, Brian. It was my pleasure. Last question from Spinner. Before they go, which board game are you playing or will be playing in the future? Not Galzyr, of course. Well, a wide plethora of games. Some of my all-time favorites are like Cosmic Encounter, Root, and Seventh Continent, for example. But I'm also looking really forward to some of the new stuff coming out. Like I have Unsettled, but also looking forward to new planets for that. That's just, I think the Kickstarter just ended for the new expansion stuff. Not that I have played all the previous ones yet either. And also Seventh Citadel. I have played Seventh Continent quite a lot, so looking really forward on what Sirius Pulp has done with the new standalone game in the same vein. And well, too many games to list all of them. So that's just some that I do look forward. Is there anything else worth to mention? Well, there's also this achievement sheet that when you do some awesome stuff, you can cross off an achievement. And this is something that if you just play like 10 games, 15 games, you are going to cross some of these off, but if you want to cross all of them, good luck with that. It will take a long time, and there's hints on all of these achievements under their name that will help you if you try to hunt them down, like rise from the ashes, lift the spirits by arranging a feast of epic proportions. So we have make them so you can try to puzzle out, especially after you have played the game and seen a lot of stuff. You can try to figure out where these ones are located and how to access them. And those of you who got the adventure journal, I'll just give you a quick look at that. So this is not quite the final one, but this is a really fun way to keep up, to make notes on each of your adventures, so you can write down on what fun you had. This is not quite the final design. You can see in the latest Game Found update the new one, which has also space for actually 6 adventures from the upcoming expansion that we have planned. But this is fun way to write on what happened in your stories. Like we could write that we got lost and while we tried to help our friend and went to casino just to pay Marlena her pay or whatever we wanted. Like here's my an older one which has some stories on how some of our games have gone. Thanks for joining, Felix. New achievement sheet is nice touch too. Yeah, it was originally just in the adventure journal. Like this is actually one of the versions that has them here, but it was kind of cumbersome to have them in two different places like this. So you have to try to find where they are. And also we wanted to upgrade the adventure journal so it supports the expansion that we have planned, and to support it we had to add the 2 new adventures. This has just the 4, and the expansion will also have new achievements, so we don't know yet what those achievements even are, so we couldn't add those in here. So that's also one of the reasons we wanted to take them away from there. And we wanted everyone, so this is an add-on that you can get if you want, but this one comes in the game for everyone, so we wanted everyone to be able to hunt down the achievements if they want. And it just felt weird to have them in 2 separate places. And then do you cross both, do you cross just one, or what do you do? And you can also download the PDF for this from our website if you want multiple sheets, like different gaming groups. You might want to keep track with different sheets if you want. It's much easier with this than the adventure journal. That I think that marks the end of this demo. It was a pleasure, and I thank everyone for joining in and playing Lands of Galzyr. You can obviously subscribe the channel to get notified of any future streams that I will do. There's plenty of stuff. I do some drawing streams, I do time-lapse videos of drawings, I do gameplay videos. I'm not sure, I have toyed around with some ideas of actually doing some non-Snowdale Design game stuff on YouTube as well, like talking about different games and why I like them and what they have inspired me to do and stuff like that. But so far they are just ideas, but I might do something like that in the future. We'll see. But thanks everyone for joining, and I hope to see you next time as well. And there's also a link in the description for the Discord channel, which is where I'm almost all the time, or at least I can reply to you if you have any questions. I can do that there. There's a bunch of really lovely folks in that one. So thanks everyone for joining, and have a lovely weekend. Bye.